Whenever there's an accident or some kind of tragic happening, one of the first questions that is asked is why? Following closely behind that is the important question, who is at fault? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, Day 1 of Chayei, Sarah, the life of Sarah. And we begin today in Bereshit, in Genesis, chapter 23, verse 1, which says, "And Sarah lived 127 years, the years of the life of Sarah, and Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her." There is a troubling, nagging question. Why wasn't Abraham with his wife when she died? And there's no real answer. The Torah doesn't just come right out and say what can be easily surmised or suspected, if you will. In chapter 22, it's the story of Abraham taking Yitzhak, he and Sarah's son, and going up and offering him on Mount Moriah. After this incident is completed, and Yitzhak and Abraham come off of the mountain together, it doesn't say anything about them going back to where it was that they left. And so it simply says in verse 19 of the previous chapter that Abraham returned to his young men. They rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt in Beersheba. But Sarah dies at Hebron. And it's not a huge distance between the two locations, but they're not next door either. And we don't hear again about Yitzhak until we find him again at Be'er Lahai, which is the well of the one who sees. And why isn't Yitzhak at his mama's funeral? And why isn't Abraham with Sarah when she dies? Does she die alone? The rabbinical take here is that which is kind of pieced together, and it makes sense. It's not doctrine. We kind of shrug our shoulders and say it's a plausible thought, but we just don't know, again, because the Torah doesn't come right out and say. But the storyline thought is that Sarah was so upset that Abraham would even contemplate offering up their son, that it distanced the husband and wife. And even though he lived, they couldn't dwell together. It was just too much. And so she went her way, he went his. And though it says he comes and he weeps for her and he's mourning for her, it's just supposed, insinuated, that there was a problem. From all of this plausible storyline that's not necessarily factual, it's just what we read into what's here. And we're making an educated guess here. So again, there could be other reasons totally outside the bounds of what I've just described. But if we adhere to that storyline at all, then we have to consider that Sarah was placing fault or blame at her husband, and that it broke her heart. I want to talk to you today about blaming. A dictionary definition of the idea of blame is to consider someone responsible for a misdeed or a failure or an undesirable outcome. Things did not go as planned. Things did not work out right. Something's not done as it's supposed to. However, how the negative result is, somebody's to blame. is to find fault or to criticize or place responsibility of some negative something on someone else. And so crime scenes, it's all right, who's guilty here? Who was the perpetrator of the crime? Who caused the victim to suffer? Placing blame. I mean, and we do this all the time. It's just in every corner of society. Everything from children blaming their parents for whatever childhood lack or negativity or abuse may have been incurred. My life is not what I want it to be, so it's somebody else's fault. And we've seen the generations recently that it's easy to point fingers than to take responsibility for your own steps. It's not to say that they're not those that have been abused, and they have. You got the environmentalists that are blaming those who eat meat and and hunt in the woods for destroying the world. You drove your car here and it has a fossil fuel engine. Oh, you're just a horrible person, and we blame you for all of the storms that have taken place in the earth. Promises are not kept by politicians, so what do? We blame the politicians. My life is not what you promised, and so therefore it's all your fault. It is so easy to pass the buck, and it goes back a long, long ways. In the garden, Adam criticized and blamed Chava. It's her fault. She turned and looked at the serpent and said, I was deceived. It's his fault. The snake said, what'd you expect? I'm the serpent. Placing blame may make us personally feel better because then that relieves us of any fault. If someone else is the blame, if someone else has the responsibility of whatever is undesired, then it's not on me. Don't look in my direction. I didn't do it. There is a case in Scripture that we find in the book of Yochanan, or in John chapter number 9. And it says, and passing by, he, Yeshua, saw a man blind from birth, and his taught ones asked him, saying, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he should be born blind? Whose fault is it for a child to be born blind? Was it something that the parents did? Did they commit some kind of sin that caused this child to be handicapped? And then they asked the ridiculous question, was it the child? Did the child do something in the womb? Did y'all know the child would do something, and to prevent that something, he caused him to be born blind? Is the child themselves the cause of being born blind? Yeshua answered, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but the works of Elohim might be made manifest in him. Now, there is a complete storyline about what happens after this and the miracle of this man receiving his sight. But Yeshua didn't blame the parents or the man. He said there is a divine reason that this has taken place. We hear the words of Rav Shaul that we need to hear. And perhaps someone in the sound of my voice today, you need to hear this. In Romans chapter 8, verse 1, there is then now no, big emphasis on that word, no condemnation, no blame, no fault finding, no criticizing to those who are in Messiah Yeshua, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Yeshua did not come to condemn us. Yeshua is not looking to point a finger at us. And back in Yochanan chapter number 8, the woman who was caught in the act of adultery, and there's a lot of stuff about that. He says to her, where are your accusers? Does no one condemn you? No one, Master. Neither do I condemn you. Go sin no more. Whoever's throwing blame at you, whoever's saying you're the reason for all of my problems, Yeshua's looking at you and saying, I don't condemn you. take the blame off, lay it at his feet, and walk free today. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.